Oh, yes, your self worth and self value is going to increase at least 10 times by the end of this video. You have tapped into this vibration and this transmission and this expansion because your soul knows it's time to at least 10x your value and your worth. I'm hearing your core value, your true self value, and how you view yourself and your worthiness level. So, the first thing I'm hearing and I'm channeling through for you is that this is absolutely the time. Okay, whenever you're watching this, this is timeless. Whenever you're tuning into it, we'll talk about frequency base. There's something deep within you that knows that it's no longer okay for you to be hiding who you truly are. It's no longer okay for you to keep on looping certain event situations and circumstance that reflects your lower self-worth and self-value. People not seeing you, people not paying you, money's not flowing in, people are not treating you properly, things are not showing up in the 3D properly. So by the end of this video, you are going to at least 10x exactly what you're here to 10x. The first thing I'm hearing for you is that when you're tuning into your core frequency, what do you know to be true? And I want you to really reflect on what I'm saying. If what I'm saying is not hitting, like it's not making sense, like what I'm saying is core frequency, and you're like, what is core frequency? I like you to notice that. If you're connecting with what I'm saying or not. Because the point here is that your self-worth and your self-value is going to increase 10x at least by the end of this video when you understand and understand your true core frequency, okay? Your true core essence is of God. That's the God essence, okay? You can call it whatever you want, but even with that, even if you're a little bit weird with the name and the labels, there's something I want you to look at. Because everything is created through God. It can be called whatever. There's no argument about it. When you're arguing about it, you're in mind, you're in ego. When you understand and understand that everything in this reality comes from the God particle, comes from the God consciousness, comes from the God essence, you will actually understand who and what you are and how you understand that there's God essence within everything, everyone. From the bird to the tree, to the cow, to the house, to the you, okay? Everything is made of that. That's the creator energy, and that creative force is within you. So you have to understand that when you are anchored in this God essence, when you awaken to it, this is why we go through the spiritual awakening. When we understand that everything gets created in this physical, world, whether the amount of money you have, the amount of friendship, relationship, not really amount, but like the quality, right, of relationship you have, how people treat you and stuff like that. It all depends on where you place your worth and your value. Is it in God? Okay. Is it in your God essence, which is infinite, eternal, all that is, like literally in all that is, in all creation. All creations come from the creator, okay? And the creator, I'll refer to it as God, energy, okay? The God essence. So when you know that you're literally, okay, a particle of God, when you realize that it is the God that is flowing through your consciousness, that's the one consciousness, the God conscious, the one consciousness is all that is. So when you are questioning your worth and your value, your thinking is not anchored in God. Your thinking is not anchored in the true nature of this reality, which is spirit. Okay? And if you're a spiritual person watching this, which I know you are, this is very important for us highly spiritual people to actually anchor in, because your worth and your value is not and it's no longer being anchored in what the 3D trying to loop you in, which is how pretty you look outside, right? How you, whatever, okay? It's not based on what you have to do. Like you need to perform for love and validation. You need to feel worthy by people pleasing, by giving up yourself, who you are, to become this person that you don't want to be so that they can like you. When you think of yourself in a poor situation, when you look at yourself poorly, okay, just listen to the words I'm saying. When your self-concept, when you look at yourself, your inner self, poorly, your self-worth is going to be poor. Your self-value is going to drop. It's poor, okay? When you think poorly of yourself, because everything inside gets reflected out. The outside is the output. The inside, okay, is the input, output, okay? So when you know that when we are experiencing this reality, okay, that is not real at all, this reality, the experiences of it is real because through the senses and whatnot, it gets created and projected from your inner world through your what you believe to be true, what you put in. So if you think of yourself, you believe yourself to be a poor person, and I don't mean poor as in how much money, also that, but what I really mean is you're just so poor in your health, in your thinking. You know, you think of yourself poorly, you think bad of yourself, you think that you're so ugly, you're not good enough, that Sally over there is better than you, Tom over there has bigger biceps than you, has more, nicer, girls, watches, shoes, ties, I don't know what, whatever men are into, right? And then, over here, Sally and Joanne has nicer necklaces than you, and tiaras and dresses and heels, whatever, right? Like when you are in this comparison, you forgot just how rare you are, just how amazing you are to be alive in this human experience. Like you could be, consciousness is in our thing. You could be a freaking table right now. You know what I'm saying? You could be a table. You could be, a pillow right now. But no, honey, you're a human being. And consciousness is flowing through you, allowing you to experience all of that. Isn't that amazing? It's marvelous now. It's marvelous. So when you are questioning your self-worth and your value, and what I'm channeling through is your God consciousness, what you know deeply to be true about you, I'm reflecting and awakening and activating a deep remembrance within you to awaken to your truth that you are of the God essence. Remember, feel the energy shifting. Feel the silence when you stop looking at so many things and you focus. And you quiet your mind. And you slow down your breathing. And you relax your body. And you come home to that stillness within you. That's the peace of God. The peace of God within you activates your true awakening and your true remembrance of who and what you are. The peace of God. And when I talk about peace, I'm talking about peace. When you're in silence, when you're in stillness, that's why we meditate. Okay, it's not I meditate to distress. No. Okay, no. You meditate to remember. Remember that. Write this down. You meditate to remember. Remembering your power. Remembering that you are always the creator of your life. Remembering that your worth and your value is based on your right-minded thinking. In anchoring in the Holy Spirit. And I'm not talking about the Christian Holy Spirit. I'm talking about holy with the W in the front and another L probably. Holy, whole. Your vessel is filled with spirit. and not of the ego, not of the programming of the lower 3D matrix, saying that this is your name, this is your race, this is your earth age. You know, your name is someone gave it to you. You were born with no name. You know that? Right? You're just a whatever. Before the whatever language, English or whatever you speak, called you a human being, a girl, a boy, you're just a, you know? So just remember, everything is programmed. So when you allow yourself to remember your God essence, you realize that this is all made up. You realize that everything is interconnected and everything is created from within. And there's no such thing as self-worth and self-value. It's not a thing. You are of God, and God, the creator, does not make mistake, ever. Everything that's here is meant to be here. So if you're here, you are of high purpose. Okay? And it's not even high purpose, it's just off purpose. And when you're questioning that and you're doubting that, you're doubting God, you're doubting the creator. Your doubt, and what that means, by the way, I'm not talking about some God up in there, with his white beard. I'm talking about that God consciousness within you. You're doubting your creative ability. You're doubting your manifestation ability. Okay? You're doubting that you're literally here to create heaven on earth through your mind, through the facilities of your thought and your mind and your right-minded thinking, and being able to create things, bringing the unseen into the seen. Everything is a reflection of you. Instead of blaming your circumstances, I want you to look at what is your income, your friends, your relationship, how people treat you, your whatever in life. How is that a reflection of you? And sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow because most people find it easier to, this a-hole treated me badly, this toxic ex of mine, narcissistic ex. It's easy, isn't it, to call somebody that? But how did they get attracted into your life though? Okay? And this is not about self-blaming. That's why a lot of people avoid it, because they feel like there must be something wrong with them. But it's not something wrong with you. It's rather tapping into where do you harbor negative beliefs about yourself. Because you're always thinking something, right? You're always believing in something to be true. You always have an assumption, right? The law of assumption is not something you have to learn. It's something that's always working. The law of attraction, it's not something you have to learn. It's always working. You attract in the frequency that you are. When you think you're unworthy, you attract events that proves that you are unworthy. When you assume that people want to treat you poorly because you are unworthy, or you're not pretty, or you're not good enough, and you're not smart, and you're the underdog, like that's how you're going to be treated. That's the law of assumption. So I wanted to ask you, how is it now that I can take this in control and awaken to this infinite worth and value and actually abolish this whole freaking idea altogether? Because by the end of this video, your self-worth and your self-value will 10x. And when I say 10x, what I really mean is that when you're listening to this transmission, when you're feeling what I'm transmitting through you here, we're working with energy. I'm saying words, but every word holds a vibration, and it's meant to reach very specific people who are ready for this. Okay? And it reaches you for a reason, because not everyone is going to get this message, and not everyone is going to understand what the F I'm saying. And maybe you're going to have to listen to it a couple times, okay? Depending if you feel called to do that or not. There is something that's really deep that is unlocking in your psyche and in your remembrance right now. And that's exactly it. You are awakening to your God essence. And that is the only way that you have true self-worth and true self-value, and you become magnetic to your true life. And I want to bring forth this point to you, that you have to be aware and be discerning of when you see people on Instagram and whatever, TikTok or whatever platform, and then you think they have all these like designer clothes and these like things and, princess treatment and all of that, and you think that is of high worth and high value. You have to rethink all of this, because not just because someone has money, okay, lots of it doesn't mean that they have a high self-worth and high self-value. Actually, a lot of people, as you know, a lot of supermodels and stuff, they have very, very low self-esteem. They can believe that, what they do is of high value, and then they can get paid for that. But inside, they still don't believe that they are worthy of certain things. That's why maybe they go through certain extremes of diet and plastic surgeries and whatnot. What I'm transmitting, what I'm teaching, what I'm reflecting, what I'm awakening deep within your self, your psyche, your God essence here, is when you're anchored in the right stuff, in the true stuff, in the you stuff, the only one source stuff, oneness, one source, God, all that is, you will experience true love, true peace, true abundance, true prosperity, because that is the nature of this reality. That's the law of nature. That's the nature of this reality. Most people is right in front of their eyes, but they don't see it. That's how crazy programmings are. Like if you go to the nearby forest, okay, just go and you will see, or not. You will see, and I want you to go to a forest and I want you to think about how many leaves are there, how many trees, how many pebbles, how many rocks, how many grains of dirt, how many birds, how many butterflies, how many worms, how many, you get what I'm saying? How many seeds? You see apple tree, how many seeds? And I want you to realize we live in abundance. One of these apple, I love that one, the saying that says, you can count how many apples on the tree, but you cannot count how many seeds in an apple? You can count, you can count how many seeds in an apple, but you cannot count how many apples in a seed? Something like that. You know me in quotes, okay? I can only channel, that's what I do. I cannot recall quotes. You see, we all have our talents here. So just know and imagine the seed of an apple, and how many seeds are in one apple, and how many apple trees from that one seed, and how many apples that it gets created from that seed, and how many seeds. You know what I'm saying? It's freaking infinite, okay? So when you understand that this world is it's a generated world, the computer generates it, your mind, okay, your consciousness is infinite. Creative is infinite. It keeps on going. It doesn't die. So you knowing this truth about how reality works is the only way you are actually anchored in your true self-worth and your self-value. And you know that everything that has been generated, again, creation doesn't make mistake, is for your highest good. For example, when you grew up, maybe you didn't have this awareness, and your parents and your family treated you poorly. And because of that, you developed a poor self-concept, a low self-worth, self-esteem, self-value. Okay? But it doesn't matter, because of all of that, it led you to a healing journey, a spiritual awakening journey, right? That's why you're here. And all of these things led you to this video, led you to this message, led you to the teachings and the transmission that you're meant to receive, to awaken you, to repair you back into your God essence, because this is a freaking journey of the soul, journey of consciousness, experiencing itself as a human being. Okay? So I want you to, lighten up, one, and realize that your self-worth and your self-value is a human concept. And it means nothing to your true self because it's not your true self. Your true self is not Sally or whatever your name is. Your true self, it's infinite. That's why you have past life. You remember these things. You remember parallel lives, past life, future life. You feel, certain soul bonds, soul connections with people, right? It's like this reality, this world, this experience, it's so beautiful and infinite, and it's more ways that we could possibly describe. It's so multi-dimensional, and you're sitting here thinking that, you have low self-worth, low self-value. You just have to understand that, slash all of that, okay? And I took thousands of people through these journeys, and what I found out, and what the people who has the most amazing results, the one that are able to change their life, upgrade their life, change their way of living, attracted millions of followings online, and, start doing the new earth business from scratch, quit their 9 to 5. The people who are able to change all of that and really increase their self-worth and their self-value is they really tapped into their creative ability. The power of true creation. And true creation comes from the creator, your God consciousness. Like everything I have in my life, everything that I have transformed within myself, I wasn't always this way. I wasn't this confident. I wasn't this whatever version that people see me today. It's because I realized who the F I am, and not who the F I am as Tina Wong, who the F I am as this infinite creative source. I can create realities from my mind. I can imagine myself as my truest and highest version, who is confident, who is powerful, who is loving of herself and others. So if you have this powerful tool that is your mind, that is the only creative level, remember this. The only creative level is of the mind. You have control of your mind. But how many distractions are there in the world that wants to get your attention? The twerking girl video, the cat meowing videos, the useless, attention grabbing videos. It just takes away your creative ability. So you see, your self-worth and your self-value is based on how much you can fill your vessel with the Holy Spirit, with all that of source creative energy. When you remember yourself as the light of source, the particle of God, infinite and divine, creative potential waiting to be birthed in this physical reality. The last thing you will worry about is your self-worth and your self-value, because you realize just how amazing and beautiful and magnificent, and just there's no words. You're just in awe. The fact that you get to experience this life, this moment, this breath in this body, whether it's rain or shine, you are just feeling so grateful. So your ability to have gratitude for life is going to change everything. Okay? And if you're making it to this far, I know for a fact, something is going to change. Something is going to shift. Your self-worth and your self-value is going to freaking 10x. Why? Because your God essence is infinite. So 10x is just the bare minimum. It's going to skyrocket to infinite because you abolish that idea of self-worth and self-value. And you realize it's only a match. Do you feel that you are all that is? And I mean all that is, because if you are all that is, you will feel that connection to all that is, whether all that is a point of healthy relationship, of this amount of money, of this lifestyle, of these beautiful supportive connection. If you say, I understand that I'm all that is, and then you're like, well, but all of this possible is right here, which is, shitty relationship and shitty friendship and, shitty paychecks or whatever, okay? You have just slashed out all these infinite possibilities. So you're not really connected with all that is. So when you're able to connect with all that is, you realize that you have the choice here. Because every choice is equal. Again, I love in A Course of Miracles, it says, there are no hierarchy in miracles. Like, basically, there's no level. It's just like whether you want $1 or you want 1 million. It's like, it's not one is harder than the other. It's just what you believe to be true. Okay, think of it like that. Okay, healthy relationship, toxic relationship, people treating you poorly, people treating you with love and respect and compassion. These are just two equal potentiality. But where do you place yourself? What do you believe to be true? Is that reality that's going to be a match for you. Okay, it's like the least resistance. So you have to retrain your mind to upgrade your life. And I teach you this inside my 21-day energy makeover called Sparkling New Me. If this interests you, link is down below. It is a very loved program where I go deep into how you change your mind, your body, your energy, from the way you sit, from the way you breathe, from the way you manipulate the energy within you and move the energy in your outer world. It's very magical, it's very powerful, and it's also very fun. If that's something that speaks to you, I'd love to have you in there. Like I said, link is down below. Let me know what comes up for you. Happy shifting, and I want you to claim this down below. This is your time, 10x, 10x, 10x at least. Okay, like this video if you got anything from it, and subscribe to the channel. We're here every day, and check out my other videos on the channel to awaken your God consciousness even more. I love you. This is Tina Wong, and I'll see you on my next one.